Country Club at the Dow Championship, filling in for Art, who serves as a tee announcer this week. So if you come out to the Dow Championship, go to hole 1. If you're looking and missing Art Lewis's voice, you can hear it all weekend long here at the Midland Country Club. He's done this since day one, folks, and does just a phenomenal job. He's kind of the ultimate host and greeter to everyone here in the Great Lakes Bay region. Couldn't imagine anyone better than Art to play that role. And in return, I get to host a show. And we get to talk all about everything Dow Championship related, which is fantastic. Folks, if you've not been out here before, I highly encourage you to make it out. I talk about it all the time. I don't know if there's a single event that's hosted in the Great Lakes Bay region that really showcases our region to the world quite like the Dow Championship does. First of all, the Midland Country Club is just an extraordinary facility. The golf course is beautiful. It's set up wonderfully for an LPGA tournament. The tournament officially kicks off tomorrow. We run Thursday through Sunday. If you guys remember, in years past, it used to be a July tournament, and it used to run Wednesday through Saturday to allow the golfers to head to Europe. There were some changes in the schedule, and we have that traditional Thursday through Sunday setup, which is absolutely fantastic. If you know anything about LPGA golf, there are 4 majors. And aside from the 4 majors, the Dow Championship has made a commitment to be one of the top 5 purses outside of the 4 majors. So it's really beneficial for this tournament because it truly does bring out the top golfers in the world that want to take part in this, because there is a $3.3 million purse for this event. It's been growing throughout the years. We are fortunate because the region then gets to see some of these phenomenal golfers. And if you've been out here before, and more importantly, if you haven't, it's amazing how close you get to the action. You can stand literal feet away while they're teeing off or while they're putting when they're out in the fairways. And if you're like me, I generally sit there with my jaw on the ground because the power of the drives, and I think just the fact that they're basically throwing darts at the green and coming so close to hitting so many different shots, I'm amazed. The level of golf is tremendous. And I guess if there's one thing I'd love to, just kind of highlight briefly, it's that there are a lot of different areas across the country that host women's professional sports. And I have to tell you guys, I don't think there are many communities better than Midland or the Great Lakes Bay region in terms of hosting professional women in various sports. So number one, this area for a long time has been home to the Dow Tennis Championship. I think a lot of you guys remember it maybe as the Dow Corning Tennis Classic. As Dow Corning was absorbed by Dow, it's now the Dow Tennis event, which is held at the Midland Tennis Center. Our friends at Greater Midland. It's the longest running professional sports event here in the Great Lakes Bay region and in Midland. And again, that's a tournament that has traditionally brought in who've become some of the greatest women tennis players in the world. Our most recent champion, Coco Gauff, has been here in the past. It's a tremendous event, and we host it right here. The fact that now we have the LPGA here, and again, the best women golfers. Our friends with the Midland Soccer Club are now hosting a women's professional soccer team, and they're building a cool indoor facility that they're hoping that can really elevate the game for their women's professional team. This is just a city that does it better than most when it comes to women's professional sports. And I encourage all of you who are listening to go and check it out. Google Dow Championship. Figure out how you can get tickets. It's an affordable event, and you need to get out here and be a part of it. So, as always, we bring different folks who are associated with the tournament, and today I want to welcome the Midland My Pros. We have Kevin Leduc, who is the chair of the Midland My Pros, and also moonlights as a communications officer at the Midland Area Community Foundation, as well as Isabel Passiola, who's a marketing and program specialist with the Midland Business Alliance, who oversees the My Pros. So good morning to both of you.
Good morning. Thanks for having us on.
Good morning. Thank you.
So, Isabel, we're going to start with you because we hear from Kevin all the time. I mean, he's like, legendary with the various roles he plays in marketing communications. You have been at the Midland Business Alliance now for 3 months?
3 months, yeah.
Awesome. Where did you come from? What were you doing before?
So before, I was a reporter at the Midland Daily News for just over 2 years, and that was actually what brought me to Midland. I grew up in Brighton, and I went to Central Michigan for school, graduated, and came
Fire
out
up
here.
chips.
Fire up.
So I actually love that story. So you're doing the work that we at the Alliance are focused on, which is how do we grow the population of the region, which population has been a challenge here in the Great Lakes Bay region for a while. We've had declining populations, and our number one goal is how do we start building that? And we want to grow by 10% by the year 2040, or 40,000 people. So because of you, that's 39,999. When you came, though, from Brighton to go to CMU, did you ever have it in your mind that first day you stepped on campus, like, oh, I'm going to go to school here, and then, of course, I'm going to stay in the region? Or was that your last thought? Did you kind of have the assumption you would come here and leave?
Yeah, pretty much the latter. I really thought I was going to go work in, like, New York City or Nashville or something, and then I'd never even heard of Midland when I was at school. And then the longer I was here, the more I was like, man, this region is really cool. I mean, there's just so much to do here without all of, like, the heavy traffic and all the people. And so it just started to grow on me. And then when I saw that I could work at a newspaper and still stay in what's kind of like it's a city, but it's a town, and it has everything that I really want and need, I was like, perfect, I'll just stay here.
So we're going to cancel all the rest of the programming for today and just keep talking to you because you're the story we want to hear. We kind of talk about, if you want to increase population, people are like, well, where do the people come from, right? And we view it as one of four really clear ways. One are jobs. If we have great jobs, people are going to come here. Corning is a great example of that. Corning's hiring 1,500 people right now in Hemlock, and people are applying and accepting jobs, and they're moving here for the jobs of Corning, right? So it's one. Two is the fact that we're home to 50,000 college students here in this region, and how do we do a better job of retaining them? And you're a great example of that. You're kind of pocket two of where do people come from. The others are how do we bring great people home, people that did originate from the Great Lakes Bay region, left and came home. I'm that story. I was out east for a long time, decided to move home to raise family here. And then the fourth is if you really look at areas that are growing across the country, they're home to new Americans, right? And how do we legally bring in new Americans that want to move to the United States and live here and be a part of this country and community? And how do we create a sense of belonging for those folks to come here? So you kind of fit one of those buckets, which is great. But Kevin LeDuc from the Midland Area Community Foundation, he and I have chatted about this many times, about if we want to grow this region, we have to feel like it's a sense of belonging for young professionals. If young professionals like the Isabels of the world do decide to live here and they start their professional career, and they don't feel like they belong, and they don't feel like they have a place, and they don't feel like the community is catering to young professionals, we're going to lose them, right? So can you talk about your moonlighting role as the chair of MyPros?
Absolutely. I've been operating as a chair of MyPros throughout 2025, and it's a really exciting role because when you're around other young professionals, they're here now, they have jobs in our community, and they've been acquired. But yet we want to retain them. Nobody walks around and thinks, wow, am I being retained right now? So you have to provide opportunities for engagement and participation. So when you look at MyPros, our purpose is to be the premier entry-level organization for young professionals in Midland County. And I think we do an incredible job of that by bringing people together, providing them a sense of belonging, and hopefully helping them make new friends, make new work acquaintances, and provide them with opportunities to get out and explore this community and fall in love with it a little bit more.
So next segment, we're talking about what you're doing here at the Dow Championship here this week. But before we do that, who can be part of MyPros? Like, you hear this organization exists, you know it's there. How do you join MyPros? Kind of what's the age range you're looking for? And how do folks become engaged with the organization?
Technically, when we're talking MyPros, we're looking at professionals 40 years of age and under, but we will allow folks to join even if they're young at heart. We're trying to provide people an opportunity to be involved here in the community.
This is what I want to hear. I want to know if I could show up at the lunch, and Tara said, no, you're old, you can't go, you're 50. Nope, they will not. They're going to show you the door. You're saying if I'm young at heart, you will not kick me out.
Listen, Matt, we're always looking for new members. We grew by over 100 last year, and we're not going to turn you down either.
Good. That's what I like to hear. So where do they find out about the organization and the various events that are going on?
Yeah, so if you're looking for information on like how to join, what comes with a membership, things like that, we have our website. It's on the Midland Business Alliance website. If you go there, mbami.org, you'll find our page. And that's where you can fill out an application. If you're looking just like what events do we have, what do we do, our Facebook page is amazing. It has all of like our events listed. We always make posts about what we're doing. And that's great. You can see, like, okay, I'm a morning person. What do you have going on in the morning? And we always have a morning event every month. Or if you're like, oh, I can only come in the middle of the day on my lunch break, we've got that too. So it's perfect for just seeing kind of what we do. And you can always come to an event or two, kind of check it out before you really commit to joining the group.
I love it. Well, guys, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, let's hear about what you're doing here at the Dow Championship.
If you have unfiled taxes,
Welcome back to the Art Lewis Show. It's Matt Flan, live from the Midland Country Club at the Dow Championship. And I'm joined right now by my good friends from MyPros, Kevin LeDuc and Isabel Pasiola. And we're chatting about the organization and what they do, but you guys are active here this weekend at the Dow Championship, and especially today. What's going on, guys?
Today we're going to hold our regional luncheon, which is awesome, meaning young professionals from across our region are going to be meeting up with us on Hole 18 to have a little bit of lunch. You'll hear from the incredible Tony Stamas. And then also we should be having a professional golfer join us to talk a little bit more about the tournament.
That's cool. So you guys actually going to be outside, like out by the green and in kind of that cool Diamond Club grandstand area?
Partially covered just in case of rain, which that's not something we want to say this week. But yes, we're going to be right on the edge of 18.
Brother, if a little bit of rain knocks down the 97 degrees, I am all for it. Just a little bit, just enough to give some clouds and knock it down. Because standing out there on the 97-degree day like we had on Monday, no thank you. That's just not what I'm looking for. So I think it's an awesome setup. Isabel, when we say people are coming from across the region, who are you guys partnering with to make that happen?
Yeah, so we partner with the other young professional networks in the group. So we've got Bay Area Energize, we've got Saginaw County YPN, and we've got the Mount Pleasant Young Professional Network. So it was open to anyone in the four groups that wanted to come and eat lunch with us.
That is awesome, and it's good to see, again, this is not a Midland event here at the Dow Championship. It truly is a regional event. Is Tony Stamas going to tell dad jokes? I mean, that is really one of the main reasons you could get me out there to hear what Tony has to say today.
I don't know. I mean, I guess you're just going to have to show up and find out.
So I know it's late notice. It's 10:30. This event does start at 11:30 today, correct?
Absolutely.
If there's a young professional listening right now, like, ooh, you know what? That sounds cool. I have time. I still want to go out. Can we sneak them in, guys? Do we still have a little bit of room to sneak a few people in?
Yeah, we definitely have some space. We can take some walk-ins.
Like, I mean, if we have to, we can boot Kevin to the side, right? For new walk-ins and people of that importance, we can absolutely make that happen, right?
Anything for the brand, Matt.
I love it. How often do you guys do regional events as opposed to just your MyPro event that's specific to the Midland Business Alliance?
So we try to do quite a few a year. The MyPros ourselves organize at least 3 every year. We come to the Dow Championship, the Dow Tennis Classic, and we do a night at the Great Lakes Loons. And then for the other groups, it's just kind of, you know, if something's coming up and they think everyone would be interested, then we'll just make it regional. And so I know in August, Saginaw is having a coffee hour at Chick-fil-A. I'm like, I want to go. And so now it's just open to all 4 groups.
I mean, you have to, right? I mean, Chick-fil-A, you had me just at Chick. I mean, let's go. Which, you know, you Midland folks, I mean, I don't know if you saw, Bay City's going to be adding a Chick-fil-A in the old Kmart area on the corner of Euclid and Wilder. There's one in Saginaw. You know, is Midland clamoring now, going, okay, we need a Chick-fil-A? Or are you guys going to completely go against and say, you know what, maybe it's time for Raising Cane's here. We're going to do chicken our own way. What do you guys think?
Listen, we can always mix it up. We can't have everything in Midland, and much like us sharing space with our regional partners here, we're happy to go over there and share some space with them as well. And that's what makes this region so great. You can kind of get anywhere you want in a very small amount of time, and you can explore everything this region has to offer.
So, Kevin, while I have you here and we have a few minutes, I do have to ask, who's Max? Tell me about Max. What do you know about this Max guy or girl? You know, I can't tell the gender that I keep running into in Midland. I think we want to hear about Max.
Max Lowe's Midland is a faceless entity. They have no gender. Max is meant to relate to everyone in the community, so we hope that you can see the community through Max Lowe's lenses. That's why the Max Lowe's Midland logo is a cool pair of sunglasses from the 80s. That, and we were also watching a lot of Stranger Things when we came up with it. So
Totally
there
cool.
you go.
But it could be Maxwell. It could be Maxine. It could just be Max in general. Max is who you want Max to be, correct?
Absolutely. And you can also flip it and say maximize, maximum, and there's so many cool things you can do with that moniker of Max. But we love Max Lowe's Midland because it provides a way for people to engage and participate with our community.
And where do people truly find Max? When they want to see what Max is talking about, what Max is up to, where do they go to find Max?
MaxLowesMidland.com. There's been over 4,000 events posted on there. You can see all the great things going on here in Midland County, and you can also hear stories and read stories from folks in our community. We have a lot of contributors, including the Midland Business Alliance. They're writing a ton of profiles about their members. They're writing profiles about MyPros members as well. And it provides folks an opportunity to put faces to names and learn about one another.
So as we kind of wrap up, Kevin and Isabel, the thing that I love about this region is that, yeah, we are a region. We truly do erase those dotted lines between Bay, Saginaw, Midland, Isabella, and the Saginaw Chippewa Indian Tribe, right? But at the same time, what makes us so dynamic and unique is that we do have our own unique counties, our own unique destinations inside each one of those counties. I always joke, Metro Detroit has kind of that one sun. Grand Rapids has that one sun. Traverse City has that one sun. We have at least 5 suns. And some may argue that Frankenmuth is its own sun, and Freeland is its own sun, and our friends in Coleman are their own sun. And if you're looking for some cheese in McConning, that's its own sun. But definitely with the larger communities, we kind of have that great balance between, yeah, you're part of a region, but at the end of the day, you can go check out really interesting, unique things in each community. So it's, I know it's like being part of an eclectic, crazy family, and I don't know if you guys feel the same way.
I definitely feel the same way. Being from Beaverton, all of these locations were places that I traveled to when I was young, and you would go to Saginaw, Bay, Mount Pleasant, Midland for all sorts of different things, and I just fell in love with this area and just wanted to continue being a part of making a difference here.
So last questions for you, Isabel, because you're my case study that I want to use all around the region. Not from here. You came here. You've stayed. Are you here for the long term? Are you here for the duration? Have you got that New York and Nashville nonsense out of your mind now? And are you going to be a Great Lakes Bay region native from here on out?
Absolutely. I cannot see myself ever leaving.
Okay, totally fair. But to be fair to you, it's okay to leave. We're just going to ask that you come back at some point. So great seeing both of you guys. Good luck on the lunch day, and more importantly, good luck as you continue to build the MyPros organization here in Midland and the Great Lakes Bay region. Enjoy the tournament.
Thanks for having us out. See you on the course.
Reliable plumbing.
Good morning and welcome back to the Art Lewis Show. It's Matt Flan and once again Tara Jaliga from the Great Lakes Bay Regional
Good morning.
Alliance. We are here at the Dow Championship talking about all the great events and things that are going on. And Tara, I'm actually going to start with you before our guest. Veterans are pretty important to you as well, aren't they?
Yeah,
You want to see veterans honored. Why are veterans so important to you?
because my father was a veteran.
And so when you see an event like the Dow Championship, specifically catering to veterans in the region, what does that mean to you when you see that?
A lot, because the time that my dad served in Vietnam meant a lot to him. When he was in a hospice, he just passed away May of 23. And when he was in a hospice, they came out and they honored him as a veteran of the Vietnam War, and that was the happiest and the most glorified I've ever seen him. He was just beaming. He was always so proud to have served. He earned 3 Purple Hearts when he was in the Vietnam War. He got shot twice and bit by a monkey.
I don't know which one of those things would be worse. What did he tell you? Was it the getting shot twice or the bit by the monkey?
The monkey.
The monkey was worse than
rabies,
getting...
all that good stuff. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I think it was Cambodia, maybe.
Oh,
Yeah.
just terrible. So that story just haunts me every time you say that because I try to get it out of my head that he was bit by the monkey. The shot I always remember, but I forget about the bit by a monkey. So we're actually joined now by Randy Crawford, who works at Dow. He's been with Dow for the last 29 years, and he is associated here with the veterans events taking place around the Dow Championship. Good morning, Randy.
Good morning.
You were with us last year, so
Yes.
you're an old pro. Like you kind of know what we're up to. But our main goal, folks, of why we have Randy on is we really want to talk about how veterans can come out. So if you're listening right now and you're a veteran or the spouse, a significant other of a veteran, and you guys are thinking about what are we going to do this weekend, Randy has an answer for you. What is happening with veterans here this weekend?
Okay, so Kelly Services sponsors the tent, and with that, veterans get in free with a guest all week. Tomorrow morning, we're having a pancake breakfast, and throughout the day, there will be free beer and the seltzer waters, or the alcoholic seltzers. There's also water and pop and snacks and burgers and hot dogs. And then on Friday, we'll have a happy hour of mixed drinks. Saturday, we're supposed to have a chicken dinner. And the hot dogs and the beer and stuff is throughout the weekend.
Yep,
it's
absolutely.
not just...
That's a constant all weekend
Yeah.
long. Yeah.
And then Sunday, we are told we are getting a Sunday bar with all the toppings.
So I have been told that it's absolutely going to happen this year because last year...
Oh, that's right.
Last year, apparently, it was like 47 degrees out on the last day of the tournament. It was abnormally cold. And people thought, it is way too cold for ice cream.
Yeah, they did something else.
Yeah, they did something else.
American
It was like
cookies.
cookies.
Yeah.
Patriot cookies.
Yeah.
And we did love the cookies.
Who doesn't love a cookie, Randy?
But
I mean,
veterans are a hardy breed.
But
and
there
in
was
47
people that were
degrees,
mad. Yeah, they wanted
we
the
still
Sundays.
wanted the ice cream.
so the first thing I'm going to say, 47 degrees in late June is completely unnecessary. And Terry Henney has assured me that he's going to do better this year, and we're going to be in the upper 80s to close to 90 on Sunday. So we're going to have perfect Sunday weather for Sundays with veterans. So that's going to happen no matter what.
No matter what.
And as long as it goes well this year, I think we can guarantee that the Sundays will become a regular piece of the veterans set. So question for you, Randy, as someone who works at Dow, what does it mean to you to work for a company that is doing this? And this isn't just for Dow veterans. Of course, Dow employees are recognized at this tournament in many ways, and Dow veterans come out. But, I mean, this is a company that's doing it just not for folks who are at Dow. You're just talking veterans in general in the Great Lakes Bay region that are listening. What does that mean to you to work for a company that cares to that level about veterans?
So it's really, in my opinion, two companies coming together. Kelly Services and Dow, they partner up. You know, I go there and I volunteer, and I bring Dow VetNet people to volunteer with me. And Dow VetNet, that ERG, we do other things. We do Habitat for Humanity, military degree equivalency to help people get a better job in employee development and to workforce. And it's a community within a community. And what that means to us is that we're all helping each other out. And that's showed here. Like every year I actually have to refuse people because we fill up that tent every year with volunteers. And that tent is getting better and better every year. Like last year and the year before, we actually had to have people sit on the lawn instead of, you know, we fill up capacity every year. We've gotten better every year. And to me, between Kelly Services and Dow's partnership, that tent is getting better and better. And I think we're doing a good service for the
And that's
veterans.
all veterans? There's
It's
so
all
many
veterans.
that they're overflowing into the lawn.
Yes.
So one of the things I love, Randy, is I'll always go over there and say hi to everyone and check things out. And I love to just kind of stop and kind of walk away a few feet and just kind of observe. And one of the biggest things I've observed since the Veterans Tent has been here is the camaraderie and folks that may or may not know one another. But just, you know, when you're with your fellow brother and sister who were in the armed services, you can see the connections with people and you can see them talking and you can see genuine delight on the faces of the veterans as they're surrounded, you know, by their peers and you can just see how happy they are to engage and talk. And where I really notice it are the older veterans that come out that really enjoy that opportunity for the brotherhood, right? To be able to come out. And I don't know if you've witnessed the same thing through the years.
I have. So doing this so many years, I have actually gotten to know the same people show up every year. And you get to know them, you get to hear their stories. And even if you've heard the story last year, they'll retell the story, and I love hearing these stories. And they all know me. I mean, I'm a staple in that tent. And it doesn't matter if they're Marines, Army, Navy, Coast Guard. Everyone's welcomed, and, you know, we all talk, we all have our stories. And the camaraderie is definitely there. If anything happens, you know, we're all got each other's back. I think the second year that Kelly Service sponsored, there was a veteran burial at the cemetery here, and that tent, I announced, hey, we need a moment of silence because we have a funeral going on for a veteran. And before the gun salute started, everyone stood up, bowed their heads, and no one moved or said a sound until the guns stopped going off. And you know, you can't plan for something like that to happen. That's just how it is, because we're all brothers and sisters in the armed forces.
Sure. Well, it's absolutely phenomenal program that's done here. We're going to keep talking about it. We're going to take one more break, but we're going to be back here with Randy Crawford from the Dow Championship.
Switch it up and ride into it.
Welcome back to the Art Lewis Show. It's Matt Fwan and Tara Jaliga from the Great Lakes Bay Regional Alliance filling in for Art. Although, in full disclosure, we have to be
Art's
honest.
right here.
I mean, Art's right here, overseeing the production.
He's judging.
He's judging. He's been doing tech work. Whenever I stumble on a word, he giggles. Whenever I screw up, he laughs hysterically and has to cover his mouth. But thankfully, that's very rare, right, Tara? So we keep his laughter to a minimum. So we are here with Randy Crawford, a Dow employee and a veteran. So first of all, you yourself are a veteran. What branch did you serve in?
I was in the Navy.
For how long?
4 years.
4 years. So don't tell me that you say everyone's brother and sister and getting along over there. The Marines make fun of you still, correct? They give you a hard
yes.
time, right?
There's a Marine that sees me every year in the tents, and we have a constant back and forth banter. And
Does he give you the whole thanks for the ride while we go to fight kind of business?
I tell him that the Marines are part of the U.S. Navy, and he says, yeah, the men's department. So
I was going to say, there's no way that there's not some banner. So tell me, so you serve your 4 years in the Navy, right? And then you come back home. How did that experience prepare you then for your career at Dow for these last 30 years?
Nothing. I mean, for me, it was the technical knowledge that I picked up, because I was started off in the nuclear program. I thought it was like, oh, I can learn anything. I learned working in a chemical plant that not everything's the same. But it gave me the discipline to try everything I could in the plant. And without having the military discipline behind me, I wouldn't have tried different jobs. I wouldn't have advanced my career to where it is now. I would have just stayed as an operator, and I would have probably stayed in one building and not advanced anywhere. But instead, I wanted to learn as much as I could learn. So I became an operator to an instrument tech to a maintenance engineer to a maintenance rep. So I really pushed myself as far as I could go.
But you have a retirement right around the corner, right?
I do. I've announced that I'm retiring in March.
And then what? What are you going to do then?
I plan on helping out veterans when I can. I have young kids, so I'm going to coach robotics at Bullet Creek, hopefully.
Good for you.
Nice.
Yeah, look at you. Well, then we're going to see you in the STEM tent,
Lori
too.
Flippin, are you
All over the
listening?
place.
Actually, one of the people that leads the Bullet Creek Robotics asked if I could help in the STEM tent, but I will be otherwise occupied this week.
Totally fair. So, Randy, we have about a minute left. How, again, do veterans come here and be a part of the event, get their tickets, get out to the tent? Do they need to have military ID? Do they show them the bite marks from the monkey? What do they do in order to come out and really take part in the festivities?
So online, there is a procedure to get your military credentials in there and get your free tickets. But I have heard that people will come right up with their veteran
Military ID.
military ID,